Greetings and welcome, beautiful watchers. I am a mere bodiless void with a voice by the name of Tom Murr, and I'm here to whisk you away into the mythic north. But don't be afraid, you won't go alone. You have company in the persons of my wonderful players. One of them is the brilliant Ever. Ever, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever, and today I shall be playing Isaac Nilsson, whose pronouns are he, him.
Thank you very much. Also, we are joined by the splendid and brilliant Key.
Yes. Hello, I am Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama. And today I will be playing Christopher Butler.
Thank you very much. And not only as a player, but also the person who's keeping me clear of all the technical stuff. And I'm immensely grateful for this. And also, I'm very, very enjoying to play with you. Please introduce yourself, Voodoo Arcade. Thank you. So, we're heading out again into the mythic north, Victorian time, Scandinavia. This is the second part of our story in which we are going to hunt for a mystical creature, a Vaesen, that brings trouble to a very small community, far away from the cities and other forms of civilization. It is located near a big lake and surrounded by deep, dark woods. It is winter, so there are only a few hours of daylight, and even then they are only dim. There's something strange around this place. Plants are behaving in a very curious manner, and people got lost. We will learn more about this as our investigators, members of the society, a more or less secret organization that helps negotiate and solve problems with the Vaesen. And I forgot how this sentence started. As our investigators are right now in the inn. They had a very, very discomforting night and dreamed about their past, but now are getting back onto their feet. To the relief of Isaac and Torment, the third member who accompanied them and was in a very sick state, recovered and now joined them at the breakfast table. The barroom you're in right now is supplied with a few tables and chairs, a few benches. There's some paintings on the walls of the landscape and some written poems. At this point, nobody else is here except for the barkeep and lady of the house. And the three of you are sitting there having some hot beverage and some breakfast. How are you feeling this very morning?
Oh, you go ahead, Steve.
Dredging up the past like that in the night, combined with the ride, our third getting sick, the villagers holding information from it, the way that this whole thing is going, I have not slept off my anger that started to arise last night. So, Tormund is grumpy at the breakfast table.
Isaac will be kind of scooting away from Tormund. You know, he seems grumpy. And he's poring over what he's written last night, documenting everything. And it's a mess. A page lands in someone else's food. Ink accidentally splatters in someone's coffee. He's just a mess, but he's awake, and he's chipper, and he's excited to research.
You are making a mess of the table.
Research. It's important. Breakfast, a little ink won't hurt you. Christopher, how are you feeling today?
Feeling somewhat better. You know, if you wanted me back in bed, you could have just said so. You didn't have to put ink in my coffee.
Apologies, It'll put hair on your chest. That's a little ink.
Indeed. And he, without breaking eye contact, sips from the coffee. Puts it back down. Just goes back to eating. Yeah. Felt like complete and utter crap the past day. Blissfully unaware of anything that happened, I assume. Now that he's feeling better, he's back to his old tricks. Just flirting with anyone who even walks within like a 3-foot radius of the old man.
Are you two quite done? We have work to do. And one of us is a day behind.
Dreadly sorry about that.
Well, Isaac, since you are the note taker and so gratefully organized, will you fill Christopher in?
Take offense to that. I know where everything is. It is in a pile somewhere.
I believe it's right here. And he reaches into like pile of like poached eggs, pulls out a piece of paper, all greasy. It's very.
I'll take that. Thank you. Well, we arrive here, and we find that there is not one, but 2 children missing. A girl and a boy. The girl disappeared first, and then the boy. And then we find out through a lot of subversiveness that they were engaged. She disappeared on the night of her wedding's eve, and he disappeared shortly after. Well, the families are fighting now, and the mother of the boy seems quite angry. She wishes to kill the father of the bride, and I don't know if that's literally or figuratively. Maybe both. And it turns out that the girl disappeared in a field of ice and snow. Barefooted. She walked barefooted through ice. Only someone enchanted or superhuman could achieve such a thing. Oh, perhaps she was a changeling, or perhaps enchanted by one, or perhaps she was never really here at all, or perhaps...
Isaac, you're jumping to conclusions.
Well, anyhow, if you'll notice where we are right now, there's a slight smell of summer flowers, but there are no flowers in winter. Don't you see? This is magical in itself. And there was a poem and a rose and stew and yes, there was. Oh, and while you were nearly incapacitated on the ride over here, which I was quite worried that you were going to die, but I am very glad that you pulled through. I need someone to help convince Tormund not to kill me in the night.
Yes, what would you do without me?
Quite frankly, I don't know.
Well, yesterday was a pretty good indication.
I'm not sure if that was a compliment or an insult.
Eat up quickly, please.
Oh,
We have
yes.
work to do.
Where'd my breakfast go?
It's under your journal page.
Oh, thank you.
I believe our best course of action is to set out our plan for the day. I wish to investigate the schoolhouse. There seemed to be something about that teacher and the things that he was invoking. There, if we can find another clue, we should then follow the path taken by the girl as she led north out of town. Those are our two best leads.
Yes, sir.
Eat quickly, drink, and be ready. And I'll stand up and, do a firm kind of, at attention and then spin on my heel and leave these two to their foolishness.
Wait a moment.
Yes.
No, that's all right. I forgot. Never mind.
Of course.
So, are you leaving alone?
I think yes. I think in my anger, I don't want to be here, so I will go to the hut, the teacher's hut, by myself while they finish work, or they finish eating, or at least force them to follow me.
If Christopher saw him leave out the front door, he would scarf down like two more forkfuls worth of the breakfast, and then just rush out the door after him.
Isaac will be lost in thought for a moment and then realize that everyone has disappeared, and then pack up, shoving all these papers in his satchel, and then running off after Tormund and Christopher.
Imagine there's a little link of sausage in there as well.
Great idea.
Yes.
So, it isn't actually too far away to the teacher's hut. Agnes, the proprietor of the inn, offered to go there together with you, but you decided to go without her. From here, you can see a piece of the lake, and it is frozen all the way up. And as you go to the hut, you see that the people of the hamlet didn't finish the wall at this site, as if they weren't afraid that somebody would come across the water. So there's nothing hiding the field of flowers outside of the village walls.
Oh.
It is a winding field, and you can see that beneath the flowers, the blooms, they're thick knots like melons, and most of the blossoms are still closed, but already reached the size of a child's head. They've large, dark green leaves and covering quite the area. They also covered the path now that you took to the village. And they stretch from the village all the way to the forest.
Oh, wow. So they grew up overnight just to...
Yes.
This is escalating quickly. We have to hurry. We have no more time. No more days off, Christopher.
Yes,
Be
sir.
kind to the man. He can't control whether or not some pisky casts a sickness spell on him.
Yes, but I can control if I sleep in because of it.
Are we able to push to the actual hut through the field?
Yes.
Okay.
We're able to do this.
Isaac would like to take samples before going on.
Then, dear Isaac, I need you to roll our first roll of tonight. And I think this is an agility roll. Please
Agility.
please take your physique and your agility, add them up, and roll that many d6. A 6 is a success. Should you have any physical conditions, subtract 1 die for each.
Physique and agility. Oh no, I only have 2 dice for this roll.
So the thing is, you could have your friends helping you if they were to help you. A player can describe an action to help another player, and if it's fitting, they grant an additional die to the die roll. So, is somebody helping?
If Tormund is able to make his own path through the hut and Isaac is taking samples, that's Isaac's job.
Betrayed.
So I don't think I would be assisting in the taking of a sample.
A sample of the plants here?
Yes.
Yeah. So Christopher would be doing is looking for a flower to give Isaac. If that helps with collecting samples, then yippee.
Well, why not? So you get another die.
Hooray! Thank you. Oh, no successes.
Well, you... What do you gather exactly?
In specific, a leaf and a flower petal and possibly some pollen.
And for this you need to open one of the blossoms. And there is a poof. And the pollen steer up into the air. And you breathe them in.
Oh,
It's
no.
a tingling feeling in your nose and in the back of your mouth. But after a short coughing break, you're ready to go again.
It is a good thing that I'm not allergic to such things. Ugh.
Well, perhaps you've turned the pipe one too many times, Isaac. What have I told you of that?
The flower has pollen. It was probably pressurized from the cold, and it just...
Were you able to get what you needed, though?
Yes, indubitably, I am
And are
prepared
you?
in pressing the samples between this book that I had to... Oh, found it. Excellent.
And you're okay to press on.
Yes, it was only a bit of pollen. Don't be ridiculous.
Then Tormund will keep pressing towards the hut.
Onward.
Yes. And you are at the hut. It is actually a pretty tiny building. Only one floor, wooden walls, wooden roof, and the windows are barred. And the door is locked. Isaac, just one question. Did Tormund criticize you?
He did. He always does.
He really shouldn't.
You know, Tormund, I've had quite enough of your insulting of my work and my organizational skills, and quite frankly, I have had enough.
Enough?
Enough.
I'm sorry. You're telling me that you've had enough of me telling you that you're disorganized.
And insulting my everything.
Isaac?
I ought to bring this to fisticuffs.
Sir, I'm not quite sure this is the time or place for this. If you wish for me to quit remarking on your organizational skills and your ability to help this group, I perhaps suggest that you become more organized.
Oh, well, perhaps I would if you would compliment and appreciate the things that I do.
Christopher would half whisper, I appreciate the things you do.
Thank you, Christopher.
Christopher, not now.
Sorry, sir.
Isaac?
Towards Isaac? Christopher, did you whisper this towards Isaac? This is a really a very warm feeling. Such nice words. So good words. Best words.
See, it wasn't hard for Christopher to appreciate me. Do you even have any idea what I have done for the academics community? You know, aside from that scandal.
I am slightly familiar with your work, but not to any great degree. I am not an academic myself. I know that you are here now, and you are part of this team, as am I, as Christopher. So your job is note-taking and research. Can we enter the hut and research it, please? Or would you prefer me to tell you that you are doing a wonderful job first?
That. At the very least, that you appreciate what I do for this group.
I will not be forced or strong-armed. I grew tired of this, Isaac. We are wasting time. We are standing in the cold. People are missing. Please, show me that I should appreciate your work.
Show you that you should. I have carried this group. Every single mystery that we have solved, the information doesn't come from you, it comes from me. Everything that I do. Researching, knowledge. Everything. Do you think you'd have known if that was a Selkie back there and No, you wouldn't have. That was me. I knew it was a Selkie. You would have been eaten by the whales had I not pointed out what was going on.
Isaac. And I'll get really close. Do not speak of things that might have eaten someone. Do not speak of monsters in the snow that feast on us. You don't know these things. Get to work.
How does this make you feel? Angry? Frightened?
When Isaac brings up that idea of being eaten, anything like that, reminded, and all of those whirlwind of emotions that came from what happened back in the South. A degree of anger that he would spring up something like that, a degree of fear at the memory of the situation.
Yes. And Isaac does take a mental condition. If he isn't strong enough to fight it down with a simple observation roll. Observation plus empathy.
This is a much better roll, hopefully. Oh, I need another die. One success.
Brilliant. You got yourself under control. I don't know if this is a thought that might spring to your mind, but criticism and compliments both are really getting to your head if you let them. Christopher, what did you do during this exchange?
Christopher. Christopher watched for a little while, sneezed, and then decided to go inside without them. They'll come in when they're ready. I'm not getting sick again.
Right. The door was locked. Was until it met you. How did you open the door?
So Christopher would approach the door and try to open it, and then begin shoulder checking it to just knock it open. He's still a strong old man.
That's right. And you know your way with doors. And it opens. The first thing you recognize is the thick air. It's not the dusty, stale air you know from left buildings. No, this air is moist, and it immediately starts sticking to your skin. There's something in it. You can immediately taste it. It's a little bit sweet, as is the smell. It is the smelling of summer flowers, very intensely. It is a one-room hut. You have an old stove, a table with a chair, a second one at a wall, but it is stuffed with all kinds of cooking implements and other household things. A bed, a cupboard, some bookshelves going across the walls, and on the top boards of the shelves, as well as on the cupboard, there's growing from planting pots some of these flowers you saw outside. There's only sparse light in here, coming through the cracks of the windows. What do you do?
Christopher would look over his shoulder to see if they're still fighting outside.
They're getting into each other's faces.
Hmm. Guess I will have to make up for lost time. Christopher starts investigating the hut for them, as a good butler would.
Then the first thing I need you to roll for me is actually a force check.
Oh. Zero successes. 7. Total 7 for force, physique. I don't know how this happened.
It is overwhelming in here. You can't help but breathe in the air. And maybe it's because of the weakened state of your body that it's making you feel dizzy. But nothing more at the moment. So you maybe continue?
Must just be my illness. Nothing more. It's fine. Christopher continues. Push on.
And you're looking through the personal belongings of a person that wasn't here for a very long time. There's a thick layer of moist dust on everything. And, well, this is not the first home you're searching. This is not the first time you're doing anything like this, so you're watching out for stuff like this. And you find a diary. Do you open it?
It'd be a couple seconds of should I not, should I not, before Christopher decides he should, and he opens the diary.
I showed you one of the pages in the foundry. I think in the meantime, Tormund and Isaac are slowly calming down again.
I am very sorry, Isaac. I'm a bit carried away, a bit angry at this entire situation. You do a lot of good work for this team. Shall we press on?
Yes, Strange. I've been feeling strongly depending upon what someone says to me. I've noticed it's almost supernatural in nature. I'm unsure. Perhaps it is the weather. I'm unfamiliar.
Let's find what Mr. Butler is doing.
Yes. For good measure, though, I am going to remove my jacket and put it on inside out in case of fairies.
Very well. I will about face.
Oh, if you are fine with it, you should probably do that as well. Perhaps even switch your shoes to the other feet. It is proven it confuses the fairies.
Cormid will keep his uniform on correctly.
You find Christopher standing in the hut, reading a page in a journal, and maybe Christopher could read it aloud so our listeners and viewers can experience it as well.
Christopher more mumbles it to himself, but in this quiet hut, it would echo quite a bit, I'd imagine. They were a gift, such beautiful flowers. She promised to me they would grow into a wonderful garden, just like hers. I gather they are much more than a gift. When I enter my home, I feel entranced. It is so warm, so nice. Instantly, I start dreaming about her. Her breathtaking movements, her delicate body, perfect in a shaming and a ravishing beauty. In the few clear moments I have, I realize there is more to it. At first, I noticed the looks of Agnes. It felt wonderful to hear her sweet talk, like sunshine on my heart. But as I had a disagreement with one of my pupils, his words stung. To calm myself, I had to go home and get a new dose of flower scent. Now my body feels weaker. I lose interest in most things. Movement feels unnecessary, except for those short moments of a rapid impulse to move. Oh, young love. Christopher clings to the diary before trying to read more pages of it.
Did I hear you correctly when you said flowers? The flowers being required to feel better and interesting, very, very interesting.
Christopher very quickly closes the diary. Oh, yes. How long have you been there?
Since you began reading.
That long? Very well then.
So we...
Torment.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright, but I need you to roll a force check as well.
Two successes.
You also breathe in the wet air, and something about the taste tells you there's something wrong with it. How do you protect your breathing?
There's something wrong with the air. These flowers. Is there a piece of fabric that I can pull to wrap around my mouth, like when trying to block the cold wind?
Sure. Yes.
Everyone, cover your mouths while we're in this garden or in this hut. There's something wrong with this place.
What is it?
Just the air feels wrong, wet, heavy, suffocating, entrancing. We have a journal. We have something to go off of. We don't need to stay here any longer, do we?
I think we should be alright to leave.
Quiet.
I
Good.
think.
Good. Both did excellent work. Good job. Let's. We have our samples. We have our book. We have information. What we were in drastic need of. Let's press back to the inn.
Christopher, you did well. You did so well. Tormund just a minute ago denied Isaac any form of recognition or verbal reward for his work. You found his respect, though. Feels so good. Add 1 die to your next dice roll. And I guess you're leaving.
Christopher walks behind the others with a spring in his step, knowing that he is possibly the favorite of Tormund.
Maybe. So, where are you heading to?
I should actually like to. I suggest, if you both are all right with it, going to the schoolhouse.
Is that not where we just essentially left from?
There is no schoolhouse here.
Oh, what building am I thinking of?
Sorry, I did mention a schoolhouse earlier, but it was the hut specifically. I was confused before I looked at the map again.
My mistake. Yes, let us go back to the inn and perhaps speak with
Agnes.
Yes. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Isaac,
Sorry. Please.
Isaac, am I to assume that you could also reference this phenomenon with other stories to give us a better idea of what it is that we're dealing with?
Oh, certainly. Give me some time, and I will do my very best to find out where this phenomenon may correlate with other situations and how we may best combat it.
Excellent.
And you return to the inn. Agnes is... I think she's actually doing some laundry right now. Because it is still freezing cold outside, she put the equipment into the bar room and got some probably very cold water and is washing some stuff. Oh, there you are.
Good morning, Miss Agnes. How are you?
Yeah, it's all frozen again. So even though I put this onto the fire for half an hour, it's still pretty cold. Hey, do you need anything washed?
Actually, perhaps we all go. We ought go change and wash the clothing that we were wearing in that hut.
Wash our clothes this early in the morning?
Yes, the air, as you recall, was not quite right. So we may need to rid ourselves of... Oh no, we lost a key.
He's coming back in.
Oh, okay. We may need to wash the clothing that we wore within the hut.
I see.
Oh, you have been to the hut.
Yes, we got ahead of ourselves. Sincerest apologies. We also did not wish to endanger anyone else in our searching.
In danger? How would you endanger anybody? She really looks upset.
Well, if something is stealing villagers, we did not wish to put anyone in danger. And it is wise that we did so. There was something in the air in the hut. Something malignant. And the flowers were blooming quite ferociously.
Outside of the village?
Yes, just beyond the wall near the hut. The teacher's hut.
Oh. Oh. I thought they had died off a long time ago.
You did.
You did.
I haven't been in there for years. And subconsciously, she pulls a key from her pocket. I've been there for years and nobody took care of them. They should have been dried up.
Is that a key to the hut in your hand?
Oh, yes, that is.
Was it locked?
Of course, it was locked.
Our companion Christopher was able to open the door without a key.
The first time I had to open a door.
Miss Agnes, are you okay? You seem distraught.
Well, it is a place that's important to me. Yes. And I'd like it to be not disturbed.
Understandable. We disturbed as little of it as we could. We did have to enter as part of our investigation, the thing that you asked us here for. Correct?
Yes. I just could have accompanied you and unlocked the door. You see, it's... Did you find anything?
Turn to Christopher, since he's the one that found the book.
I feel like I need to double check something, because I could have sworn Agnes was mentioned in the book.
She was.
Yeah. There. Still looks. Okay. Right. Okay. It's nothing bad about Agnes. I just had to triple check. Yeah. So Christopher would take the diary and hand it to her to read.
She is much less methodically than you were reading it. She is reading, skipping some pages, reading again. And she is on a very emotional journey. Like, you can see her blushing in one or two instances. Her eyes brighten up. And then the smile freezes. Disappointment starting to hold grasp of her. And she doesn't reach the last written pages, but then she just throws the book onto the table and says, I'm sorry, I need to put this clothes on the line, and if you have anything you want to be washed, please just put it in the basket over there. And she goes away.
Okay.
That was strange.
It was. She's obviously very conflicted. She's the one that called us here, but she's very protective of that hut and obviously had some sort of connection to the teacher.
Oh, isn't it clear?
No, Christopher.
She was in love.
She was in love with this teacher. And our two missing people were meant to be married, presumably in love.
Oh dear.
Flowers as gift. This may not be a spirit that wishes harm necessarily, but to play Cupid.
Well, based on our own interaction at the hut and that of the journal, and playing off this idea of lovers continuously interacting, this thing heightens emotions, which is to bring out the most. Is that enough to go on to find out what this is and how to appease it?
Enough to begin to research. Yes. To solve, well, that lies in the research. I shall get to it at once, after I get out of these contaminated clothings.
Yes, now that we've discovered that, let's all change to make sure we're not left with any remnants from our visit.
Very well, sir.
Who is in the possession of the diary?
If nobody else takes it, Christopher will. He loves that thing. That's great.
It's wonderful. Also, it still hasn't told you all of its secrets.
Oh.
So, you start changing. And Isaac probably is going through his papers and his notes, and maybe you also brought one or two smaller books from Uppsala. And also you come across the token that you procured in preparation to ward off magical spells. And I remind you of your advantage from last game. So, if you would need it later on. And Christopher is looking through some more pages, and you find the last pages be of very different writing quality. And this is what you find.
Oh dear.
As you read this, it's almost as if you can hear a faint voice from the past. The font is scattered all over the page. Hours. I have to wait for hours. I should do something like teaching lessons or cook a meal, but these things cannot compare or lessen the void that is feeding on my heart. Something liquid smeared some of the words. It's hard to even write these words. I tried climbing my walls because of the burning in every fiber of my body. Time is a horrible torture master. I need the moon. I need the cold air, snow under my feet. I need to cool down and run towards my heart's desire. Why can't you appear in the sunlight? Why do we have to meet at the lake? It seems as if the pen broke and left some markings on the paper. That's right. I need to end this. Her kisses hurt. Hurt with bliss. She did this before, right? She needs to be stopped. Concentrate, Enders. You are forgetting. Why are you writing this? Write it down. You cannot forget it again. You must remember. Remember the poem you found. Something about the moon and the lake. She wants to be loved. She needs desire. Oh, these kisses. This pain must stop. And unfortunately, this and the following pages are torn, and the rest of the diary is missing.
Oh. He very slowly closes the diary. That's one way for the story to end. Takes a solid 5 minutes to process this. He's probably flipping through it while changing. So he's half dressed, just processing before he gets his thoughts collected, finishes getting changed, and brings it to the others if they're decent.
When was the last time someone touched your skin in a gentle way?
In a gentle way or a way that mattered?
in a way that mattered to you.
Was many, 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 many years ago when Christopher was having an affair with the wife of his master. That was officially the last time it mattered.
So you're telling me it's far too long ago?
Too long.
Something that permeated the walls of covers that your companions surrounded you with during your travels. There was something in the woods, something waiting, something taking up your scent, something, well, a unprepared mind could take this falsely as hunger. But maybe it wasn't hunger.
Oh dear.
Dormant, you aren't occupied with any books. What are you doing? Since you're probably finished.
Yes, I am quickly changing, finishing, pushing the creases in the right places, and then immediately heading back down to the common area where I expect everyone else to be, ready to get back to work as quickly as possible. So I assume I'm walking down whatever small hall would be where the rooms are. I will knock at each of their doors. Be like, please remember, we have work to do. Keep on task. No falling behind. And I'll rap on each door.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming. I'm cross-referencing. I am also don't come in. I am quite indecent, but I find that I research very well, unclothed.
Just be downstairs, please. Did I hear anything in Christopher's voice when he responded?
Did he?
You had caught Christopher deep in thought. That's for sure.
Deep in thought, okay. Then I will knock one more time. Christopher, is everything okay in there?
Yeah, yes, sir. Just one moment.
Very well.
Christopher would make sure he's all prim and proper and open the door. I found something very interesting in the diary.
Interesting.
Yes. A very, very grim end to the tale.
Hold it. Don't, not now. Isaac! Bam, bam, bam. Isaac!
Yes. Let me finish putting on my vest.
Quickly
And
now
I'll-
downstairs. Christopher has something for us. And I'll make sure that we're all downstairs so that Christopher can fill us in.
You are all downstairs.
So,
What have you found, Christopher?
Christopher would have gone to sit down, sat for like a half second, got up and began pacing, wiping sweat from his forehead. It's terrible. Just look, I can't. It's too terrible to describe.
just give me the book. Isaac. And me and Isaac will read that last entry.
It's terrible.
Wait. A poem. I'll get up and walk over to the landscape that had the poem page. And I'll take it. Is it still there?
It is.
Can I take it off the wall?
You can.
I come back and I compare the paper that's pressed with the painting against the journal.
It probably matches, but not the writing style.
Okay.
You know, though, that Agnes wrote this poem,
Okay.
and she was inspired to write it by Andis the teacher
That's right.
because of a story that he told her.
Agnes was inspired by the teacher to write a poem. This may very well be the poem needed. Could it be that whatever this creature is wants to be, as written, loved, desired, to hear this poem?
Yes, that would make sense. But there's a bit of a discrepancy. It's the journal tells of the lake, but the feeling of being watched is in the forest.
Perhaps it emerges from the forest to meet those at the lake.
Perhaps. Does not say she houses in the lake, only that is where she meets, under the moon, by the lake.
That's it. Tonight. We wait till the moon is out. We go by the lake. And we take this poem with us. We read it to this entity. Let it know that it was loved.
Yes.
Let it know who wrote it, because what if Agnes is the one that loves this entity? She was inspired, was she not?
Inspired by Anders. And Anders seemed to be called by the entity. Climbing walls, it says here. Talks about her kisses.
Either way, this poem must be shared with this thing. Kind of reminds me of Lorelei, but different.
And I think it's time to pull the clues together and maybe get into some lore. Dear Isaac, please roll a learning test. And since you made all these wonderful notes, please take an additional die.
Before that roll, quick question.
Yes.
I had maps and research. Would that help Isaac at all for this roll?
Why would it help?
So the maps maybe would allow, based on the lore, where this thing lives, where the forest meets the lake, these areas like that. And then the research containing to the area. We wanted to know the local stories and customs and legends of this specific region. So maybe that might also help.
Yes. Take 2 additional dice.
Oh, fantastic. Ah, thank you, Torben. You have a skill for research I did not recognize. It is appreciated.
Merely preparation. You are the researcher, Isaac.
What is that? 2 successes.
Wonderful. So you narrowed it down a lot by this point. You assume it is a forest spirit, and the connection with the plants does fortify this impression. And it is something that cares, as it seems, very much for affection and love of mortals. And there's some creatures, you would see them, or sometimes they're called by their Greek name, like dryads, who are living in a tree, and the stories are most often about a human man who falls in love with a wood spirit and then tries to take them from their home and inadvertently brings doom to the spirit or his village. But you have no hints towards this kind of story. This creature isn't taken from its home. And of course, you're in Scandinavia. Your spirits tend to be of another nature. And so the name of the wood wife comes to your mind. They are part of a forest, often its guardian. They appear to be human-like, of height, slender features, long ears, tail, sometimes goat or other animal legs and feet. They wear clothing and they love jewelry. Their feelings can be fickle, and it is easy to either attract their interest or hatred. Often you can appease them with a gift for a time. So you may wander their forest go for firewood or hunt or kill something within its forest, of her forest. You can lure them with beautiful songs, artwork, writing poetry, or people. It is said there is a way to entrap them, to capture them if they become a danger too great to be negotiated with. But this ritual is most depending on the individual creature. With the help of the maps, you located a possible location of the garden of the woodwife. It is north to you, close to the warm borders in the middle of the forest.
We can possibly trap this thing, this woodwife, but it seems harsh.
Also
I think... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Torment.
No, please, Isaac, finish your thought.
I think we must re-educate the village on the importance of offering to your local spirits. It's... all this being wants is to be loved. I think perhaps this town forgot, and she became wounded within, of course. I think all of us know what it feels like to be forgotten. Whether we caused it or whether we felt it.
Yes, negotiation or appeasement of its nature could help. We don't know this particular woodwife.
We don't, but we can negotiate.
We could.
And perhaps it could become a holiday, a festival. Make it a tradition. Because everyone enjoys a celebration. Why not create one? Leaving an offering, sadly without recompense, causes humans to become bored, as we know. But a festival. Festival of flowers.
Instead, it enjoyed clothing and jewelry.
Yes, I do have my troll course, but I don't know if that would scare her off. It is iron, after all. We can ask. Nothing bad ever happened of asking. Has it? Has it?
Do you really want to know the answer to that question?
I'm afraid to ask.
Very well. Perhaps we should call the town together during the day. See what they are willing to negotiate with in regard to returning their lost children and then going forward. For this thing will only come out at night, under the moon.
That is a good plan. I just worry that they may want revenge before negotiation and possibly burn down the forest.
They did seem quite at their end last night. I calmed them down, but who knows how they awoke this morning as a town.
Yes, they would be more reasonable without the flowers, yes?
I think they would be most reasonable with the 2 children returned, if possible. Actually, no, now that I think about it, the emotions might be running high from the flowers. You might actually be right.
And this is the moment that there is a loud cracking sound outside. And then you hear people muffled through the doors and the windows inside here, but they're shouting. And as you are probably getting up, Agnes comes into the door, throwing it wide open, and you can see that her arms are bloody. And this is the perfect point for a small break, my lovely players.
Okay.
So, see you in a second. And we are back. Not only are we back, but also Agnes, the owner of the inn, is coming back from outside into the barroom. She has her sleeves up on the arms, and the arms itself, the skin, is covered in blood. She has a panicked look on her face as she comes into the bar room, and as she sees you, she shouts in your direction, "Get some warm water and any clean fabric that you can find."
Wait a second. Is someone giving birth?
What? No!
I start rushing for what she's asking for.
So does Isaac.
And Christopher does so as well.
Yeah, she also gathers some stuff like some scissors and some sewing equipment, and then she rushes out again, out of the door.
Agnes, what happened? Oh,
You two find the
Let's
equipment that
follow.
we need. You two find the equipment that she needs. Get it outside. I'll make sure that everything's okay.
Remember to cover your mouth if the flowers or the
Yes.
miasma.
Yes, right. So I will go outside with Agnes and tell Isaac and Christopher to get the stuff.
yes, sir.
Agnes runs towards the gate. It is open, and there is a carriage with a horse in front, and it, well, turned sideways. It is a few meters into the flower field, and as it seems, the horse and the vehicle probably crashed on the melon-like things on the ground, and everything turned sideways. And there's somebody crawling out of the cart, and there's somebody else laying close by and is bleeding from several wounds, and other members of the hamlet are convening there and coming closer and trying to help. The situation isn't getting any better by people shouting at each other to get help. Don't stand around. Just doesn't have anybody some medical equipment. You have to get them out of there. They're getting crushed beneath the weight of the cart. No, we can't take them out of there. Are you stupid? They will bleed all over the floor. They will bleed out before we can help them. And yeah, it's getting more and more heated.
Oh no. Okay. I will cover my mouth as best as I can when running up. Just be like, kind of stand there. I had to tell you last night, and I'll tell you again. Everyone, back up, calm down, don't take a breath. Everyone, just put your hand, cover your mouths. These plants, just do what I say. Listen, you're all in danger.
A red-headed person stands up. She was hidden by the cart until this moment. And Sylvia Storren is looking at you with fire in her eyes. Are you the fuck telling me what I have to do?
Yes, I am.
She, um, she points at somebody in the crowd and says, "Get him out of there!" and points at somebody that's in the cart. And then she stomps into your direction.
Don't touch them until we have medical equipment.
To make one thing very clear. You are not from here. You don't know nobody here. And you have no fucking authority here. If you want to help, you get out of your pretty uniform and bandage these people up and do as I say.
Sylvia, you're right. I'm not from here. I was called here by Agnes. I'm invited here, and I know what I'm doing. Do you truly know? Leave them alone. Medical help is coming. Bandages, loose shirts aren't going to help them. They need sutures.
And before you're ending your sentence, I need to ask you, do you defend yourself against the thrown fist?
Oh no! If I can see it coming, I would like to put up like a purely defensive block, but I'm not, to the best of my ability, I would not strike back.
Wonderful. You can see it coming. You're trained in combat. So I need you to roll a close combat roll. She is hitting you with a lot of force, and it would result in 2 physical conditions. Every success you roll reduces the damage by 1.
She's gonna knock me out. One success.
You deflect most of the strike, but still the fist connects with you. What condition do you take?
I'm going to take battered, since I seem to have been punched.
Yes. How do you react?
I wanted to be like, you know, and I'll just, again, stand at attention. Sylvia, you're not in control of yourself. You are, and kind of remembering what this is all about, you're doing the best you can to protect those around you. You're doing a good job, but you need to think through this action. I know you'll do the right thing.
And you roll a roll of inspiration.
Okay. So
And you get an additional die because you did something very clever.
Oh.
And we will see how this turns out after we watched what your friends are doing. They are prepared with all the healing equipment they could find and coming out of the inn. And you see Tormund in a fist fight with one of the de facto leaders of the community. What do you do?
Oh dear. Tormund cannot keep from getting trouble. I bet it is his pride. Ah well, we must forgive him. He is our friend after all.
Christopher begins to roll up his sleeves.
No, wait. Don't. No fighting. No fighting. Remember. Positive things.
Positive
Positive.
things.
positive feelings, positive compliment everyone you see. That's it. Tell them they're lovely, or tell them they're doing a good job, or something, anything.
You're lovely. You're doing a good job.
Why, thank you. But now's not the time. It's for them. It's for them. Yes. And Isaac will grab the things that they need and head out towards them, and trying his best to compliment everyone that he passes. Like, you're doing a good job, or you look very happy, or you look very lovely today. Just trying to spread the positive feelings and not get punched.
Sounds like a very good idea. The thing is, you end up at the place where this guy from the very tiny crowd was ordered by Sylvia to pull somebody out of the cart. And somebody else took up Tormund's advice or order to leave them in there. And both of them are now, hanging to this person. One of them trying to push him or her on the ground, whilst the other person is trying to pull them out of there. And they're screaming at each other, whilst the third person is wailing because they're in pain. What do you do in this situation?
If everyone could take a moment. And I will appreciate you greatly if you do this thing. A piece of fabric over your mouth and nose. Breathe through it. And take a deep breath. Only after you've covered your face with the fabric. And pause, please. I will greatly appreciate every single one of you who do this thing for me.
I would really appreciate if we could get my brother out there. And
we shall. There's so much chaos. We need to collectively pause.
And to see if you're getting through with your very slow talking into this panicked and enraged minds, you also please roll a inspiration roll, and we will come back to your results after we see what Christopher is doing. So what are you doing?
Christopher's gonna go get him out of there. Go get the brother.
Great. So, you probably have to push somebody else out of the way and then pull this person. Luckily, you're very strong and you can do a force roll.
So Christopher starts cracking like knuckles and cracking his neck. At one point, he gets stuck and then just sets himself right before charging in. How? No successes.
You get the person a good length out of the cart, and then you feel resistance. It's a long piece of wood carves itself into the leg of the brother you're pulling out there.
Oh.
The locomotion also leads to the horse losing its last nerve. And it is this point that it's trying to release itself from the cart. and it starts to shake itself and throw itself against the pieces that should hold it in its place. Well, Isaac, how did your negotiations go?
I got 1 success.
That's great. Whom did you calm down?
Oh, I get to pick?
Yes.
The girl that wants her brother out. She seems the most on edge.
Yes. Yes, but somehow you reached her. And then with your gentle words, you reach her pollen-driven mind. And you can see something very strange happening in her face. Like there's still some tears running down her face, but at the same time she loses focus of the situation and stares into the far away, and there's a smile that doesn't fit the situation at all. And how are you protecting your mouth and your nose right now?
Isaac is covering with a handkerchief that he has over his nose and mouth.
Great. But you notice as well that the summer flower smell is getting more and more intense. Sun rises and the flowers start to pop open and pollen goes into the air. So, good old Tormund, not to put any pressure onto your shoulders, but what do your dice say?
The dice say 1 success.
This grants you success, yes. But the circumstances are dire. You could push your roll and re-roll all the other dice that you didn't get any successes with.
I will see that what I was doing was trying to work, and I'll just appeal, just like, I want to work with you. You are capable and strong, Sylvia. Help me save this man. I'll help you save this man. And I'll push my other 5. So no additional successes.
No additional.
No, so still 1.
Still 1. But as you can hear the cracks and the horrible sounds from the horse breaking loose, and smashing plants and parts of the carriage, you can see reason in Sylvia's eyes. And Then she recognizes that you're covering your mouth. And she sees that Isaac is doing this as well. And she puts up a piece of her clothing in front of her mouth and just takes a second to calm down. She is of no help in this moment, but she doesn't punch you anymore.
Yay.
So, Christopher.
Can I yell something when I see that very quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Sylvia. Cut the reins from the horse!
The air is filled with splinters around you, Christopher. What do you do?
Ah, goodness. Christopher is going to try and shield the person he's trying to get out of the cart, like with his own body. Try and maneuver them out without causing any more damage.
Sounds right.
Probably apologizing along the way. Just, oh, so sorry. Apologies. Just hold on one. There we go.
And with a lot of force, the horse breaks free. Wood flies around and endangers Christopher, Isaac, and the people around you. So Christopher is trying to protect the people he's trying to save. Either take force or agility to be there, take the hit, and get yourself as less injured as you can. Isaac, how do you react to this danger?
Did anyone seem to respond to Tormund asking, or, well, yelling for someone to cut the horse's reins?
Nobody of the villagers.
I think at this moment that may be the best way to help Christopher right now. To keep the horse from damaging anyone else and to keep it from pulling the carriage and hurting anyone inside more and more. That is what Isaac will try.
It is breaking free at this point, and you have to cope with the outfall. Do you get yourself out of the way? Do you try to protect anybody else around you? Do you do something completely different?
I will shove people out of the way of the horse.
Then please do a agility roll.
Oh no. Oh my god, I got a success. On 2 dice, I got a success.
This is very good. What do Christopher's dice say?
Christopher's dice say 2 successes.
This is very good. So you get yourself in between the people you're trying to to save, and the flying pieces of carriage. And not only you manage to get them into a safe space, but also reduces the impact on your body. So you take only one physical condition. Isaac is also able, probably saving the sister who was just staring into the thin air, but can't do much for themselves. And you take 2 physical conditions. And then the horse runs away, smashing fruit after fruit on the ground. Tormod, your companions, at least Isaac, aren't looking too good. There's still people fighting, and several severely hurt. What do you do?
Oh boy. I look to Sylvia. You are a good leader. You've seen what we're doing. You're doing the same. Tell them to cover their mouths. We've got to get this crowd under control. You've got to get this crowd under control. And I will try to inspire her to take command in the way that will actually help us.
That's something that's very natural for her. And she starts supporting you.
Quickly, everyone! Shirts over your mouth and nose, as was said. Just as Sylvia's doing.
And I think Isaac and Christopher are also hearing this. Do you support this call for action? And how so?
Even if people seem to be avoiding doing that, I will grab whatever handkerchiefs I see off of people and shoving it over their faces, because we need them to get their minds on track.
I honestly think Christopher might be a little preoccupied with the protecting a body from splintering wood and getting battered.
That's fair.
It totally is. And maybe that's actually the thing that might allow this person to survive in the end. So, Tormod, you're getting 1 additional die for the last die roll for this scene.
Okay. For inspiration?
For inspiration. Or manipulation if you want to go.
I'll stay with inspiration. I actually have points in that. However, because I pushed last round, I am now both angry and frightened.
Which will reduce your dice roll by 2.
But then with the 1 extra, I'm only losing 1. So you... Okay. 1 success.
And that's all what's counting. So, it does take quite a lot of effort. But with the help of Isaac and Sylvia, you're getting the people to calm down. Some of them are starting to stare into the far horizon. And aren't approachable anymore.
Oh no.
But they aren't hurting or harming anybody else.
Okay.
Agnes comes over to Christopher, and together you get the piece of wood out of there and apply your medical knowledge as far as you possess it, and try to cover the wound and keep this person from bleeding out. The carriage is broken. There are trampled fruits and flowers everywhere. People are making sounds of pain and anguish. But the immediate danger is gone. What do you do? And how do you feel right now?
Torment, will kind of go up to Sylvia. Thank you. Thank you. This was not an ideal moment, but you were there. And I was afraid we would lose your village mate, and just... I was shaken, and you stood there, strong. You're a natural leader, Sylvia.
We're just trying to survive out here, you know.
I do. I know that. Survival at all costs.
But thank you. I appreciate your kind words. I really do.
I'll help generally pick up as best I can. But Tormund is obviously a little more rattled by that than before.
Isaac is very obviously limping from the two physical conditions, and he's kind of looking very, very tired. He notices... Well, he takes special interest in the fact that the previously chaotic villagers are staring at the forest, or towards the setting sun anyhow. Tormund, Christopher, I think we have a problem. Please tell me one of us has grabbed the poem from the inn.
Should still be there, yeah, right? In the inn.
We can...
I get it now.
Okay. We'll be here. Cleaning up.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling, Christopher?
Christopher's been better, but has been much worse. His recent beating from the wood is much less important than the survival of that one man specifically who was in the cart. Specifically because that man bears a striking resemblance to Christopher's master, I think, whom Christopher also had an affair with.
As you walked away, you looked into this young man's eyes. His name was, or is, Martin. He took this from his sister. And although you're sure his mind was clouded by pain, you saw him like trying to stretch out his fingers into your direction. Silently asking you to stay.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I was not expecting to be put in that position. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Either I stay and don't get the poem, fail Tormud, or I leave and fail this man. Oh, no. Christopher needs to get the poem. It's more important.
And probably secure your position as most valued member of this team.
Yeah.
Good. You get back, you get the poem. It is still there. Waiting for you. What do you think will happen if you meet the woodwife? Do you think you can resist?
No. No, Christopher wouldn't be able to resist.
So, what is the plan that you're making as you pick up the poem?
Christopher will grab the poem, try to take a detour if needed to avoid the others as he goes down to the lake.
And probably leaves. You know, the wind outside of the village is very cold. You have to hide once or twice to not be noticed by Isaac and Torment. And you walk across a field of flowers. There are the traces of the broken plants that the horse left behind. You can feel the prickling needles of the ice crystals that are driven by the wind. To your left and to your right, soon you see the frozen lake. And in front of you, there's the forest waiting. And you have this feeling that there is something in the forest watching you, waiting for you, with a strange kind of hunger that doesn't have to be hunger at all. What are Isaac and Torment doing as they are still waiting for Christopher to return? It takes a very long time to retrieve the poem.
Where is he? Why is he not back yet?
I don't know. Should one of us, or both of us,
We should
go seeking him?
Together.
What if something befell him?
stay together. Yes, don't like this situation at all. There's something going on.
Yes, I think the villagers will be all right by themselves now.
Yes, Sylvia has this under control.
Yes, Sylvia's a grand lady. Yes. Shall we check at the inn first?
I think so.
Excellent. Let's go.
Go back to the empty inn. Oh no.
Well, the inn is empty. There's still some of Isaac's papers, but there's no Christopher and no poem.
Is the diary there?
I think the diary is still there.
I would like to grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he go? What has he done?
The poem is gone. Perhaps he wished not to endanger anyone else and went to meet with the woodwife on his own, but we didn't see him pass.
No.
Footprints in the snow. Look for his footprints.
I'll find him.
I'm going with you. We cannot do this alone, clearly.
Yeah. Agreed. Stay close. Stay with me. And I'm gonna try to track him through the snow.
That's a good idea. What do you do? No, I already know what you're doing to protect yourself from the pollen in the air. You're breathing through a piece of cloth, that's right.
Yes.
Is Christopher still protecting himself against the pollen?
No. Christopher knows he doesn't have much more time on this earth, so he's getting old.
The smell is beautiful. Somehow it mixes really well with this season of long sleep, of endings, of silence. there's a special kind of life and energy to an end. And this is a feeling that's spreading warmth through your body. It's actually getting very warm. How do you make sure that you're not overheating?
Christopher takes off his shoes and his socks, takes off his jacket and leaves it in the snow.
It's much better. It's so much better. And then you pass the first tree. The wind calms down immediately. Everything is covered in snow. And the silence has a welcoming quality to it. The other parts of the woods that you crossed so far were very difficult to travel. But it is like there's a path in front of you that you can follow. What do you think as you enter the forest?
Christopher's thinking about how long it's been since he himself had been loved. It's just hoping that even if this leads to him not coming back, he'll at least have one last moment.
There's a reason for optimism. Tormund and Isaac, you find Christopher's boots, and only a short while later his jacket on the ground in the snow. His tracks lead directly into the forest. What do you think?
Oh no. Are we too late?
No. Maybe. Fool. What has he done? Why is he doing this? Same thing that happened to the two lost children.
Hopefully he has retained the wisdom to keep his mouth and nose covered. I say we go after him, into the woods. Follow his footsteps.
Agree. If nothing else, I can't believe it. He's gonna bring her out on his own.
I don't know about bringing her out, but that's because his footsteps seem to go into the forest.
I have to assume we're gonna follow these right to the warm waters by the woods. We'll see where they go. I can't believe he's done this.
Just try to remain calm. You know Christopher is, well, maybe not the most loyal, but he's always meant well. I'm sure he doesn't mean to betray us.
I'm afraid that might be what's happened. And I'll push further into the snow.
You enter the forest. It is a strange feeling. The trees to your left and to your right, the first few seem very normal, but the deeper you go in, the more they are winding themselves up. They have many, many branches and looking like wild ancient trees. And at the same time, they're giving you the ideas of pillars carrying a roof on top of you, like you're on holy ground, entering a very special place. Something happens with the sky or with you. There was a short glimmer of light, warmth, and then it is gone. And you see one or two stars between the leaves. And it became night. There are fireflies at the end of your path. And Christopher is entering the garden. The trees in here are ancient and carry never seen fruits. Red, yellow, orange, violet colors. Swarms of fireflies sit and fly around the twigs of these crooked trees. Moss covers every place, all the stones, all the fallen over tree trunks. And in between the thick bushes of fern. And in the shadows, it's hard to see the figure. There are rustling noises. Here, there. Most of the time she's moving quietly. Only giving hints where she is right now. And then you feel the tip of a slender finger on your neck. What do you do?
Christopher would reach for the finger and try and grasp onto it. Try and hold the hand attached to the finger.
You are allowed to do it. It is soft skin. And It's not too warm. It's not too cold. It keeps away the freezing air and calms down the fire within you just a little bit to make it bearable. Welcome. I greet thee.
Wow. Decisions were made. Christopher would begin to smile as he tries to recite the poem to this being. All the while trying to get closer.
It is from afar that Isaac and Tormund hear a voice that's familiar and alien to you at the same time. Parts of it is the voice of Christopher. And the other one is a strange one, like from another time. And they recite a poem.
I fear thy kisses, gentle maiden. Thou needest not fear mine. My spirit is too deeply laden, ever to burden thine. I fear thy mien, thy tones, thy motion. Thou needest not fear mine. Innocent is the heart's devotion with which I worship thine.
You feel the shiver of her body and their hand in yours. I know these words. You bring them to me. Come with me.
Christopher lets this being guide him by the hand.
And she leads you towards one of these trees. And there is a very soft spot beneath its branches, between the roots, made of moss and fern. She pulls you a little bit closer, touches the bark of the tree, and it tilts a little bit, so the both of you could easily pluck some of the fruits from the tree. Please be my guest. Your kindness shall be repaid 1,000-fold.
Honored.
Do you pick one of the fruits?
Yes.
Isaac, Torment. You come to the edge of a clearing which is still home to some trees, and you're pretty sure you reach the garden of the woodwife. And in the light of the stars and the fireflies, you can see Christopher holding hands with an otherworldly spirit.
Oh no.
And they're both picking fruits from the tree. What do you do?
What do we do?
This is some spooky woo that I have not seen before. And Isaac tries to remember anything that he possibly can regarding woodwives and what they truly want and how to appease them. And he'll observe everything in the surroundings, the fireflies, the stars in the sky, the ancient trees, and see if he can piece together some sort of solution.
Roll me a vigilance, please.
Ooh.
Oh, and I have 2 physical conditions and 1 mental.
You only reduce it by your mental conditions, right? Only the fitting conditions.
Oh yes, that makes sense. Oh, I'd also like to be using my advantage given to me by the troll course.
Yeah.
Yes. One success.
Wonderful. Well, you're pretty sure about something which is strongly underlined by something you see in the middle of this garden. You see something that Christopher wasn't aware because he was concentrating on something else. She wasn't alone. She was in company of 2 people, unmoving, standing there in the starlight. 2 young people. They standing like 2-3 meters apart from each other, and both looking like they're embracing somebody, but they're holding only air. They're made of wood. Boy and a girl, the age of 17 maybe. Vines are growing over them, out of them. You see that twigs are in their hair, and as a firefly sits down on the boy's hand, you can see that that leaves are growing from his fingers. There are very few woodwives that walk a very, very dangerous path. And they feed on the love of mortals. And if they ever fed enough, they're able to bring a child to this world. There's either to grant the wish, and then they will rest for 100 years. Or to give them something of such beauty that they can't leave it.
Isaac, what do we do?
She wants a trade. She wants a trade of something incredibly beautiful or and suddenly he just kind of stands a little taller and gets this slight look of courage, stupidity on his face. And he will call out to the woodwife.
Oh boy.
Things got more
Woodwife.
interesting.
Stop what you're doing this instant. Please.
She puts her hands around yours and the fruit and gently presses to reaffirm your decision to pick the fruit. And then she says, "Take this. I won't be away for long. Don't worry though. You are my favorite." And then she turns around to you, Isaac. You also come to my garden.
Not quite. Now, I would like to speak with you before you make any rash decisions, if your decisions are indeed rash. You see, our friend over there, you have our friend, and we did not give him up as an offering. He wandered.
Yes. As all should do. as you have come to me. Or are you an offering?
Well, that quite depends. Lady of the Wood. I would like to ask you, what do you truly want?
You are of a sharp mind.
I can see that you're lonely.
I am. I am very lonely.
How does turning companions into wood, or trees, or shrubs, or flowers even, satisfy your loneliness? They can no longer speak with you. They can no longer entertain you with their movements or words.
This is right. And it's horrible. I would very much like for this not to happen. But you know, sometimes a heart just wants not to be alone anymore, to find somebody that values you for what you are in the core of your being. And she slowly, step by step, comes closer to you.
Isaac, this isn't working.
Hold, Torment, hold.
It's not working.
What if, dear Dryad, what if we could arrange to where you would not have to be lonely anymore? As long as you did not take these people and turn them into your trees, as long as you did not enchant them, what if love could be given to you without magics, without enchantment?
And how would that work?
A festival. Yes, a festival in your honor. And an agreement not to take anyone else. You could be allowed into the hamlet. A celebration of night on the longest night of the year, the winter solstice. Celebrations where everyone holds vigil and brings you beautiful things, jewelry. We will decorate the hamlet in lights and glittering things. All for you.
Then I won't be lonely anymore.
That's the idea. But that would depend on you. That would depend on how you treat the people of the hamlet, to inspire love and not fear. They could protect you and you could protect them.
She turns around to Torrent. What expression can she see on your face?
Reservation? Concern? Tormund's not convinced this is going to work.
we are back with sound this time. Thank you for entertaining the short disconnect. The woodwife looks into Tormund's eyes. So, what would happen if I finally find one again? That is the right one for me. What should I do?
That is an excellent question, actually. And a perfect one, I would like to offer. If you find the right one to love, if they are mortal, they will not live as long as you. Unless they are immortalized in some form. I have heard tales that there is fairy fruit that grants eternal life, but I don't quite think that's the type of fruit that you are offering, seeing the two lovers over there. If you were able to find this true love without the use of enchantments, it could be guaranteed that they are, in fact, truly loving you as you love them. But to love someone and they do not love you back doesn't quite justify using enchantments on them to make them love you. Their love would be hollow.
Yes. I know that you're right. Every once in a while there's somebody I love to stay with me. You see, and she walks over to Hilda, Niels' daughter. As we met, she was already promised. I didn't use any enchantments. I didn't use any charms. It was meant to be. But this stupid boy made things difficult. I tried to free her of his influence. I really did my best. I even replaced their child, so his loss wouldn't be too great, right? You do love your children, you need them. Still, she stayed away from me. It was his fault. I got angry about this. So angry. I took her. I brought her. And since she wouldn't accept me without him, I brought him too.
She loved both of you. Is that what I gather?
Yes.
Did she stipulate that she could not be with you without him?
I could see it in her eyes, the way she spoke of him. I hate them to be sad. They should be joyous. Like him. She points at Christopher.
I can't speak for her or him when I say that love should be endless. And I am sorry that you had to go through that loss, but it was her decision in the end. Not yours. If you can, could you please remove any enchantments from Christopher and allow him to discuss with you what he's thinking and feeling?
She turns around, gets back to the tree, to Christopher. What did you do to the fruit in the meantime?
Christopher... At this very moment, has the fruit an inch away from his face.
She puts her hand between your lips and the fruit and says, "You're free to eat this. You're free to decline. You're free of the spell of mine." And then she pulls her hand away. And whatever influence she had over you is gone. And I need to know your true feelings.
Christopher would look over towards Isaac and Tormod. Thank you for coming after me. This is where I wish to be. He takes a bite from the fruit.
It is a delicious fruit. And all of you can feel the warm summer breeze that's going through the leaves and the trees and bristles the ferns, and just a gentle feeling. This might not be a fruit of eternal youth, but maybe there's something about Christopher that's making him looking a little bit younger. Just a few years taking off his back. So, I can stay with you without any charms. I'm thankful for this. What is it that you want in return, skeptic? She's looking at Tormund.
I want those two back. And I point to the two missing children. They did not get that same choice. And their families who love them dearly want them back.
You're right. And she strokes the wooden hair of Bjorna and kisses Silda on her cheeks. Somehow she yanks back from the connection of her lips with the gold skin. And she shies away. She seems perplexed.
I'll call out their names and wave them over to me and Isaac.
They are regaining the color of their skin and the freedom of movement. And they return to you. Isaac, you witnessed something new. It looked like a gesture that she fulfilled 100 times, but this time she was warded off after the kiss. Did this Vaesen develop a new pain in front of your eyes? Was it the thing that you taught her?
She was taught to... Oh no, I've created a changeling. She was taught to negotiate.
Yes. And that love isn't something you can take from others.
Can I say one more thing
Yes.
to her? Now that I have those two back, and I look at her and Christopher, I know how hard that was for you. I know that it hurts. But you're doing the right thing. You'll be better for it. I want you only the best, as others deserve as well. I'll leave you now. Quickly, out. And I'll push the two children along.
Each of you. We are closing in on the end of our story. What is the last moment our wonderful watchers are seeing you in the story? Is it a moment in the village? Is it on the travel back? Already in the sledge towards Uppsala?
Oh.
Isaac will be seen teaching the hamlet how to respect the spirits around them that have been forgotten for years. And he will teach them the celebration of the wedding of the woodwife held on the winter solstice night, and kind of reignite the thought that supernatural entities walking among them is an honor, not a curse. But also to be wary, because they are not human.
I think the last visual for Tormund is back at the offices, in Uppsala. And he is in a hall, and he has some of the other papers. He's trying to find the next job or thing, gotta keep busy. But the hall's quiet, and there's a cold wind coming in, and he shivers. And despite what he's done and all of the work, he's cold and alone in the society halls.
I think the viewers and then anyone else see if Christopher is him waving Tormod and Isaac goodbye as they left the woods.
You aren't alone. And although your companions are poorer for it, you probably enjoy one of the few happy endings for a member of the society. Not dying of horror, of pain, of violence, or spells, but in peace and in loving arms some years later. And I think the three of you You've been wonderful players. Thank you for playing this game of Vaesen with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, that was incredible.
And also thank you to our beautiful listeners and watchers. And I think we are going into our goodbyes before decompressing a little.
Yes.
So, please, Steve, let's begin.
Yes, hello everybody. I am Steve. I have been Tormod Osland, and you can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade. And the next time you will find me on Vorpal Tales will be tomorrow for Ravenloft.
Thank you. Key.
I have been Christopher Butler. I'm also Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama, and you can find me later tonight on Vorpal Tales for Alien, Acid, and Ice. I like sci-fi horror.
And Ever.
Hey everybody, I've really enjoyed playing Isaac Nielsen for all of you, and as always, it's like coming out of an enchantment when you leave one of Tom's stories. I'm also pretty sure that's why he doesn't show his face, because he's actually Fae, and if we see it, we'll just all instantly want to stay around him forever. You can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever, because I'm Ever. And you can find me playing tonight in Alien, here on Vorpal Tales with Key.
Yeah, thank you very much, both of you. I am just a bodiless voice from the void, and I'm hiding nothing, and I'm definitely not blushing right now. So, also, I'm a traveling storyteller, and I am slowly developing the desire to pop up on all kinds of gaming streams. I'll see how this will fare. Right now, I am going to be on the Drunken Storytellers Twitch stream in a few weeks, and that's going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure we are gonna annoy the heck out of some Vampire the Masquerade hardliners, and I'm living for this, and I'm going to do everything totally wrong. So,
Yes.
well, yeah, aside of this, you can find me on the Discords of Carrying Comfort Studios, Scanner Gaming, Onyx Path, and some other nice places. And you can find me on Twitter at Tom Mur, and then the number 2. So, thank you very much. I would love to meet all of you again. And since it's very dark outside, I'm gonna tell you to have a wonderful night. Goodbye.